Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is a special edition of Wild Card Weekend on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a terrific matchup on tap between the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Win or go home is the mantra, and off we go. We're underway in this NFC wildcard game. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback.
Ready? 180? 57. I know he ain't got it.
Newton on first down. He gets this complete to Shaheen, the tight end. 5 yards on the game's first play, second down. And here are the Falcon offensive starters.
And what a tough environment to roll into. On the road, playing one of the better teams in the league, obviously, because this is the playoffs. So what do teams talk about? Bringing their own momentum, bringing their own energy on the road, because you know you won't get any from the home crowd.
He takes this from the 30 to the 34.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Able to find Shaheen, the tight end. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. A third down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough. The first down carry here for Johnson. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. Now it's Newton here off the bootleg. They'll roll him out right. He'll run it. Newton able to use those legs and get past the marker to pick up the first. So an instance there of Cam being Cam. We know he can use his legs.
And with that big body, it's hard to get him down, even if you get a clear shot on him. Plus, he moves it a lot.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Tack McKinley. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. They go quickly here out to Doxson. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. They'll fake the handoff. Now Newton. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Tack McKinley picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking. But to me, it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play action sack. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Oh, he's going to... Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. An 80-yard touchdown as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Well, we knew they had the crowd on their side. Their defense has already made a stop, but now here's an opening drive touchdown.
Yeah, how about the defense making the stop, offense feeling their momentum that they've generated, and turning it into points on their side. So now you've got a team working together, and you've got the crowd involved. fully on their side in this ball game.
And in this playoff atmosphere, that 12th man means even more. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. One semi-factor, if you want to call it that was brought up in the papers this morning here, Charles. You got a dome team on the road in a cold weather environment, first round of the playoffs in January. Do you think that's a big deal?
Ordinarily, I say no. But in this situation, because you're used to that perfectly controlled environment, some coaches will want their teams exposed to it. And if you're coming from a warm weather place and, even getting outside of your dome doesn't really help you, a lot of times they'll go on the road a little bit earlier. Go to a cold weather place, go to a place where there's a little bit of weather and practice there that week before the game to try and simulate the conditions they expect come game day.
Now Newton. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
Coverage was excellent downfield. I think he was more throwing that football away than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely, because everywhere you looked, they were covered.
Sometimes it's better to go ahead and be convinced that there's no place to fit into football than to go ahead and force it and turn it into a bad play.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, to see if the defense, they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
Now a throw over the middle, and he's got it to start the drive. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. They'll step aside.
Hey, Orbit. 55, 52.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. Going right side here, and that's complete. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed.
It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. In for the score. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find the little guys, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get lost in the traffic, but usually what it means is that rather than just winning with height or even speed, they use their quickness to find a way to get open.
Well, tall, short, wide, skinny, whatever, there it results in a touchdown. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. About set to begin their next drive. The Falcons offense at the line. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points. Get that 0 off the board. Johnson. Just a couple on the ground there, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 6. The Falcons on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Throwing is Newton. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. The defensive end, Daniil Hunter, drops him.
We said it before the game, and I think it's still apparent. If these guys are going to advance in these playoffs, they're going to have to wreak some havoc coming off the edge.
Yeah, wild card round. They told us the wild card could be that defensive pressure. They showed it there. This is brought in at the 21. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, they could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
50, play. Let's go. Hey, Foxtrot. Cut. 55's Mike, guys, 55. Ready?
They'll look to throw here on first down. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. 44 yards. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now this offense ready to head back out there. They just did manage to sneak into the playoffs as a 6th seed, so it's a tough road ahead. They would need to win 3 games on the road in January, but there's 20 other teams who wouldn't mind being on that road.
You're exactly right about that, but your point about how daunting this is well taken, because it all depends on their mindset now. How do you break it down so that you're not looking at this whole big road and say to yourself, we've got no shot? You break it down to this game right now, win that one, then worry about the rest of them after that.
And that's exactly right, and the staff told us that. They've been focusing with the players on don't look ahead, but that's hard to do sometimes, is it not?
It is hard to do because the ultimate goal is to do what? Is to win a Super Bowl. So you have to look ahead a little bit, but you make sure you focus on the game at hand.
A big play there on the catch and run. 59 yards. A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Newton to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. A good response by the defense, sending them backwards after that huge gain last play. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. This thrown quickly out to Jones. That one good for the completion percentage, but no gain. It'll be 3rd down. The Falcons on 3rd down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 17. Here's Newton. And he's going to go down. Back at the 27-yard line. He's sacked. 2 minutes to play here in this first half of the NFL playoffs. Coming up at the half, we remind you that we're going to do what we've done all year. We'll get you down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. Coach will have the lowdown of what's going on here in this wild card weekend as we begin the road to the upcoming Super Bowl. So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
Yeah, things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
That's fielded in the end zone. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. And now out comes Minnesota. And the ledger for them so far looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Not sure it can be much better than that. They've got to feel very good about the groove that they're in at this stage of the game.
Stop your whining. 45.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. It's complete to Diggs. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup. A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10.
Check 55 to Mike. Check 55 to Mike.
Back to throw here. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half.
45 to Mike. Go.
2nd and 3. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the the field. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. A little too aggressive defensively, and the flag comes out.
And no one trying to cover is going to like a call going against them, but you have to like the effort there. Went for the interception, just unable to get it, and the flag did come out.
So now, following the big play, they've got a 1st and goal all the way down at the 10.
36.
Topper!
They'll run with Cook. And he gets halfway home from the 10 to the 5 on a pickup of 5. So that run gets him about halfway home.
Yeah, it's now 2nd and goal. The end zone beckons. It looms. They can do whatever they want. Full playbook. Run it again, or they can go play action and try and put it in that way.
Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete.
They may be snapping the ball near the goal line, but all you're thinking defensively, keep them out of the end zone. Force the incompletion, force them into going for 3, and not giving up 6.
Here is Cook on 3rd and goal. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 11 seconds remaining in this first half. The offense stays out there. A big challenge here from this far back, but they're going for it on 4th and goal. He'll look to throw. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown grab. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook, but even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. That'll be taken in the end zone. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. Time here for likely one play, then off to the locker room, and they're going to have some adjustments to make.
They certainly will, and I think a lot of people are thinking to themselves, all right, take the knee, get out of here, regroup. But how will the head coach and his staff approach halftime? Will it be angry? Will it be clinical? Will they be calm? Will they just let it all out? Who knows? I'd love to be a fly on the wall for this one, though.
87's mine. I got it.
A final shot before the break. Newton able to find Shaheen here. So, well, who needs a halftime? Am I right? Let's resume play. One of these two teams about to play their final half of the season as we're back at it in this NFC wildcard bout. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8.
Check. Man up, D. Check. Check.
Yo, go.
Check nickel.
You're out. Get it.
They run it again with Cook. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
90 Wolf.
Yeah. You don't want none.
5.
3rd down, Dalvin Cook. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
I got you. Ready?
They'll try and throw for it here. And he's able to find Diggs. A gain of 26 and a conversion there as well on 4th down. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Another run here with Sanders. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instincts. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. He was ready for that running play. On 3rd down, Cook. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That'll go as a loss of 5. And that'll bring up 4th down.
So statistically, both of these offenses having a rough time getting a running game going. But boy, what a nice play there defensively.
Tackling him behind the line, but you're right, you look at the numbers. Neither side looks on track in the ground game. So put another 3 on the board. All things considered, a good opening drive to begin the 3rd quarter.
And as a defense, the way that this game is going, you're excited to see those points go on the board. Gives them a little bit of leeway to play with when they're out on the field, but they're real excited to see their offense score. Now they get to go.
About set to begin their next drive. The Falcons offense at the line. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though. Put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
And even 30 yards on a play that began back at the 30. So the big play moves him all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. Now Newton, complete to Jones. There he goes, left side. Touchdown, Falcons. Julio Jones, 40 yards. And the Falcons get a bit closer. Well, look, this is a team, Charles, they faced adversity all year long. They had to fight and claw to win that division, but they're putting it all together here in the wild card game.
Feels like a statement, doesn't it? An absolute statement game, a message to the top seeds. Overlook us at your own peril. We're pretty darn good.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
22 jet bomber, 22 jet bomber. Hey, 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 hey. Now.
It's a 2nd down run with Sanders. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
Yep.
And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. Right back to Sanders on first down. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. Now, I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game.
On first down, it's Sanders. And he'll do a nice job here just to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. Foyesade Oluwakan made the tackle there from his safety position. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Now a carry for Sanders. And he'll be brought down right at midfield after a gain of only a couple.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Hey, Charlie!
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And Diggs has it. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. And that's going to be good for another first down as the tackle's made at the Falcons' 25-yard line. And looking to put this game on ice in the fourth quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. A gain of 8 there on the 8th play of the drive. Again, it's Cook. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. Starting to look like this drive, it may be the final nail in the coffin.
Well, this is why you work out so hard, right? This is why you spend all that time in the offseason. This is why you have those OTAs and minicamps. For these situations, these scenarios, to run someone into the ground and secure a victory.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll run on first down. Sanders. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A 13-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage.
Is it okay if I break one of our rules, partner, which is to never call a game over until it's over? Because it certainly feels like it's over after that drive.
Yeah, that was spirit-crushing, wasn't it? And now you just kind of felt the air go out of the balloon.
Yeah, they were fighting so hard to stay in there, and they knew they had to stop them on that drive. But when they were unable to, I think you're exactly right. You could see them sag on their sideline, and I think this one might just be over.
Atlanta now coming out on the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a gain of 11, and the Falcons pick up the first. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On first down, Newton. He gets this one to Johnson. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags.
Defense.
So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march up another 15 against your squad.
A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31. Call it a gain of 3, and it's a 2nd down. You got the bit under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry. Newton. open. That's Allen. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. A pickup of 27, and they pick up the first down in the process. Newton now 13 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10. To throw is Newton. Looking for Johnson, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Harrison Smith. Johnson was the intended receiver.
So many times we end a game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. The Sanders has got it complete. And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that'll bring up 2nd down. That first down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7, able to get away. But in the end, the pressure too great, and he goes down. And what are the whistles for? Timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. And for the Falcons, 5 men in the secondary, now on 3rd. He'll look to throw. He's going to float this one deep right side. And it's intercepted. Isaiah Oliver with the INT. And he will be out of bounds here with zeros on the clock as this ball game is over. And a wild card win moves them on to the divisional round.
Everyone plays all year long for the right to get into the tournament, as they like to call it. Wild card, divisional, doesn't matter to them. One moves on, one goes home.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon.